Hello guys, welcome to lecture 3. Actually we are going to discuss about conditions in programming, and I'll give you some of the reasons why we need conditions in programming. One key thing is that conditions in programming are essential because they allow a program to make decisions and execute different actions based on a certain criteria. Without actually conditions, a program will exceed the same set, like it will keep on printing the same input that you have given them. But once we have conditions, it will be able to make decisions basing on the criteria our input meets. Then regardless of the inputs, then another thing is that conditions are important because they allow us to have control. That is, with conditions, one is able to control a program by allowing it to branch into different paths depending on the values or inputs the user has given. A good example is that if a user inputs a valid password or password, the program may proceed to the next step. Or if the password is not correct, it will prompt an error or something like an incorrect password. Another important of control condition in programming is that it helps us in making decisions. That things like conditions allow the program to choose between multiple options. These decisions normally making ability. When it comes to decisions, it enables us to make ability for crucial handling of different scenarios, like checking if a number is, for example, even or odd, or whether a user is eligible for a discount based on the age. Another advantage or importance of condition is that it allows us to meet efficiency. That is, by using conditions, program can optimize performance by avoiding unnecessary calculations or actions. Then another thing is the art of flexibility. That is, conditions enable program to be more flexible and dynamic. They actually allow the program to react to user input, sensor data, or any variable circumstances. Also, another thing is that they help us to control error handling. So right away, we are going straight to do programming to see how conditions are being used in Python. So let's come to our lecture. In our folder, this is now lesson 3. So just as usual, just highlight the entire line and type Jupyter Space Notebook, then press enter. So let's now create a new file. So just come here on new, then select Python 3. So let's now open. So let's now rename our file. So we come here, we say Python underscore lesson underscore 3, and we are talking about condition, and rename it. So the first condition we are going to start is the if statement. So shall start with the if statement. If statement. So let's now document by selecting markdown, then run. So actually, if statement is used to execute a block of code only if a specific condition is true. It is only used to execute one condition, and that condition should be true. So for example, let's say e equal age is equal to 17. Then we now want to put a condition and say if age is actually greater or equal to 18, then full colon, actually in other languages you will find something like braces, something like this, to enter the code, but in Python we don't have the curly braces, so we normally just use what we call indentation. So let's undo. So indentation, for example, from this we just use the full colon and we press enter. So like this we have already entered in the space of the if statement, and you say if age is greater than 18, let's say print enter in. We say you are eligible to vote. So let's try and run this code if it is true or not. So the code has not executed whether this person is eligible because he or she has not attained the age of 18. Let's try and change, give it like 19 years. Yeah, you have seen it has executed you are eligible to vote because 19 is greater than 18. This condition will only execute if it is true, but if it is 17, if something less than 18, let's say 16, the code will not execute. That is how if statement is used. So let's actually go to another statement called the if else statement. Let's document if else statement. Let's document. So under if else statement, normally executes one block of code if the condition is true and another block of code if the condition is false. So like let's say if sorry, I don't know why I'm starting the if statement. Let's say age is equal to 16, and you say if age is greater or equal to 18, in full colon, we say print and let's say you are eligible to vote, you are eligible to vote. And we now introduce the else we say print you have not attained 10 years so you are not eligible to vote. Okay, let's try and run this statement. Do you see? Yeah, actually it has executed the second statement. You have, let's say you have not, you have not attained, you have not attained 18 years, so you are not eligible to vote. So this is the reason it is executing this last statement, is because 16 years is not greater or equal to 18, it is less, so it will execute the last statement. So this is how the if else statement is used. So let's say you have you want now to execute something more than two statement. So things like let's say you have a range of numbers, like let's say you are assigning students some marks. So that's when now we introduce what we call the if else statement. So this one, say if elif else statement. So we shall look at how these statements being used. Actually it is used when we have multiple conditions to check sequentially. For example, let's now document first. For example, let's say max is equal to, let's say 70, and now we introduce the if else. Say if max is greater or equal to, let's say 69, is greater or equal to 69, we say print let's say this student has, this is excellent, we say excellent, and we add in say have passed, first the exam and you got an A. Okay, so let's execute another statement and say elif max greater or equal to, let's say, 60. We shall tell the machine to say print and say good. You have made it. Good, you have made it. Okay, and say elif max is greater or equal to 50. Sorry, say print say this is a pass. You say you have gotten a pass mark. Say else we say else say print let's say you failed. So let's try and run this code. Actually the code is executing the first line. Excellent, you have passed the exam and you got an A. So since 70 is greater than 69, okay, let's try and work with the input from the user. Let's say let's check the input from the user. Let's say int. We shall use the input variable, say input, and we tell the user that enter marks and your marks. So we want now to check multiple inputs. Let's try and run this code. Okay, enter your marks. Let's say a student has scored 55. Let's try and run. So it has told us you have passed. That is a pass. You have gotten. I have gotten pass mark. Let's try and run and say the user got 40 marks. So once you enter 40 marks, the system is telling us you failed because 40 is less than 50, is less than 60, is less than 69. So it executes the rest of the code, something that is not more than 50. Like if you enter 49 still, it will give you that is a fail, you have failed. So let's try and run. Let's say the student code like 90, enter. So once we say 90, exactly you have passed the exam. So this is how we normally use the if else statement. And we want also to check on conditional statement keywords, not under pass. And also to check, let's say conditional statement keywords, conditional statement, we want to check the word not and pass. Okay, we say if not statement is used to check the negation of a condition. It is a more readable way to check if not true. So let's say let's check the if not statement. Let's try and select the markdown, and we say is used to check is used to check the negation of a condition and it is more readable way to check if not true. To say say it is more readable way to check if not true. Let's select the markdown and run. Okay, let's have an example. Okay, let's say we are checking if fraud has happened in a company or not. Let's say fraud is equal to false, and we say if not fraud, we say if not fraud, say full column, say print say the system is okay. And no fraud has happened. Okay, and let's say else say print say print fraud has been detected. So let's try and run this code. We see what will be executed. So actually it has executed the first code. We said the system is okay and no fraud has happened. The reason we said fraud is equal to false, and we are now trying to negate this this input, I mean this boolean, and we say if not fraud. Let it execute the first code. So it is telling us the system is okay and no fraud has occurred. Let's try and say true. So if we say fraud is equal to true, and here we are negating if not fraud, we say the system is okay and no fraud has happened. So here it has executed fraud has been detected, since this statement is actually negating the boolean true. So this is how we normally use the if not statement. So let's try and check the pass statement. Say the pass statement. Let's document. Mostly pass statement is used when a statement is syntactically required, but we do not want any command or code to execute. Like let's say if a statement has not been met, we just say let it pass. For example, let's say max is equal to 50. Say if max if max is greater or equal to 50. Let's say pass. Let's say else. Let's say print. Say what can we put here? You can say you have not made it. Say you have not made it. And let's try and run our code. Yes, our code it is not executing anything, because here the condition is greater or equal to 50. So let's try and say 40. So here the output, it has say you have not made it. The reason 40 is less than 50. Anything that is less than 50 will execute the last statement, but if anything is equal or more than 50, let's say 60, anything greater or equal to 50 will just pass, will execute this statement, but anything less than 50 will execute the last statement. So this is how we normally use the pass statement. Okay, so another thing we want now to discuss about loops. Loops in Python. Let's say loops in Python. Loops in Python. Loops in Python. Okay, the reason we normally use loops is that they actually serve as a crucial role in automating repetitive tasks and effectively and efficiently handling larger data sets. Okay, like let's say you have a list of fruits. Okay, let's say let's have a variable called fruits. Fruits equal to let's say mango. Comma, let's say pawpaw. Let's say we have apple. Another fruit may be orange. Okay, let's say you have a scenario of many items and you want to execute each items one by one manually. Let's have a look and see the difference once we introduce loops. Let's say you want to execute each value line by line. Let's say print want now to print fruits. So we want now to access each index. Let's say mango is at index 0. Let's copy this one, paste here. Let's say index 1, index 2, and index 3. We actually see the output will be executed, but here we have done it manually, like we have actually executed line by line, like each value on its own. And let's say you have a million values, like executing manually, it will be so hectic. That's why we introduce now the aspect of loops. And the Python, we have two types of loops, that is the for loop and the while loop. Okay, let's try and use the for loop to execute this list of fruits. Let's just copy and paste. Let's say hashtag, let's say for loop. Okay, let's copy this one and paste it here. Let's copy this one and paste it here. So you want to loop over this list. So for us to loop over this one, we shall use the for loop. And one of the reason we normally use for loop We normally use it when we have a defined number of items, like we know the exactly number of items. So for example, let's say for fruit, like you are executing like a single fruit in fruits. Like here, you should always know that the first variable, this fruit does not have an s, but this one it has an s, like this one. The first variable, it is the variable that we are looping over. So we say, then full colon, we say, let's now try and print the output. Let's say print print fruit. Let's try and see. Yeah, actually it has actually printed our list the same as the first one, but here the first one we printed it manually, but here we have introduced a loop. Let's say we add in other items, like let's say avocado, like let's say we introduce other fruits like pears, like what else can we introduce? Let's introduce another fruit. Okay, let's say beans. I don't have another name, so far let's say beans. Let's try and run this code. Yeah, we see this code actually has run all these values simply because of advantage of having a loop in a program. It actually makes things so easy. It runs over all the values at once instead of executing it manually. Another loop we are going to look is that we are going to look at the while loop. Let's say while loop. For while loop, we normally use it to execute undefined number of values, like we don't know the exact number of values. So that's when now we introduce the while loop. It normally executes a set of instructions as long as a certain condition is met. Like you can say I. Okay, let's say number is equal to, let's say is equal to 0. We now introduce the while loop and we say while number is less, is less or equal to, let's say 20. Let's say 20, and we now want to print. Let's say print print number. So another thing you need to keep in mind is that before you print, we now want to increment our value from 0 up to 20. That's now we say a number number, now say plus equal to, let's say you want to increment by 1. Let's try and run this code. Yeah, actually our code has executed from 0 up to 20. So the thing is, in while loop you need first specify the variable, like where do you want to start. Like here we have started as 0, so we now introduce the while loop. Where do you want to stop? We say while number should be less than or equal to 20. So then we say print. Then before we print, we now want to increment. Let's like in our case we're incrementing by 1. Still you can increment by 2, and let's say we start, our number starts at 5. Let's try and run. Yeah, we have seen here from 5 it is incrementing by 2. We say 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19. So this is how we normally use the while loop. You need to specify the number, then you say this number should stop at a certain range, then we need to increment. So this is now the difference between while loop and the for loop. Okay, let's now look at details, at least more details on loops. Let's say continuation of the for loop. Continuation of the for loop. Let's say you have a group of names, and we want to append like a name from a given list. Let's say you have names, to say the first name, let's say it is Brian, then the second name, let's say Joy. The third name, let's say Eve. Then the fourth name, let's say Philip. Of course Philip is my brother. Let's say another name, let's say what else? Let's say Edith. She's my sister. I really love her so much. Okay, let me have another name called, like my mom is called Margaret. Let's say Margaret. Yeah. Actually I really love my family so much, that's why I'm using those names. Okay, but for better understanding, we need to have fun when it comes to programming. So let's assume these are names of students. We say student name. Let's have another variable called student name, which is an empty list. Say student underscore name. We have actually earlier discussed about list in our previous video, so you can go and watch if you don't understand more on list. So let's say you have an empty list. This is an empty list. and and we say we want now to execute let's say a single name from our first list, which is names. Let's say for let's say my name, my underscore name in names, sorry, in names, and say full colon to say print. We first want to print these names first. Say print my underscore names, but our condition is that we want now to append this name to student name. So we use the what we call the append method. It says student underscore name dot to call append, and we pass in this my names, my name. Don't forget we don't have an S, it is my name. We pass it here. So no, we want to append from the list of names, not my name, from the list of names. And let's try and run this code. Yeah, actually it has gone through this list first of names, then we have a student name, so which is an empty list, so we want to loop over the first list, which is names. Then we want to print them. After printing them, we want now to append to a new list. So let's say, yeah, this is how we normally append values to an empty variable. Okay, so let's look another thing called loop control. Want now to see how we can control the loops. We call loop control. Loop control. Actually normally use loop control to execute the flow of loops. Say we use loop control, use loop control to change the execution flow of loops, to change execution flow of the loop. Execution flow of the loop. Okay, let's have an example. Like we shall introduce, like we want to, let's say we want to break from the loop. Let's say you want to break from the loop. say break from the loop, and to document by selecting markdown, then run. So here we shall use the break statement. So we normally use it to we use when searching for an item in a list. Once the item is found, then there is no need to continue the loop. So for example, let's say let's copy our names up here. Let's copy these names and have them here. And we are now to loop over first. We say for name, in names, just can we do we say print, we say print name. So after this, we now want to introduce a statement that if a certain name or a certain value you have got it, you are now to break from that loop, and we now introduce the if statement. If name, let's select which name. If name, let's say we are searching for this name called Philip. If name is equal to Philip, we now introduce vertical. We are now to print. Say print. Print. Say we have found. We have found your name. Okay. And say after this, we are now to break from the loop. Say break. Say break. If let's say we have encountered this name, we shall actually execute this one. Have found your name. And let's say if we don't find this name field, the statement that we shall execute will be, let's say, print. Let's say print, and say let's say print, and say let's make it a formatted string, and say the last name checked is we pass in now the name. We pass in the name. Let's run and let's see this code how it will work. It has told us expected. Oh yeah. I know why. It is good actually to encounter errors. That's why. Yeah, we see in our loop it has actually looped over this list. You have seen Brian, Joy, Eve, Philip, Edith, Margaret. But the good thing is that execution has stopped the moment we founded the name Philip. Let's say Here the last name is checked. So this is the name that we have found. This is the name Philip, and we see our loop has actually executed how many values? 1, 2, 3, 4. It has executed up to the value Philip. Let's say we don't have any value. Let's say which name? Let's say Mark, to see. Yeah, actually here it has told us the last name checked is Margaret, but it has not told us that we have found your name. It has actually looped over the entire list, but it did not come across the name Mark. So that's why it has not executed this line of code, which we have found your name. But once the name is in here, let's say Eve, and see the result. Yeah, you have seen it has actually executed up to Eve, this level. You have found your name, and then it says the last name checked is Eve. It has actually breaked at this point. So this is now the advantage of using break. We don't need actually to know the rest of the values, as long as we have found the needed value. Let's look another statement called a continue statement. Let's say continue statement. Continue statement. So why do we use the continue statement? Actually here it skips the rest of the loop's body for the current iteration and moves to the next iteration. Like, let's see how a continuous statement is being used. Let's now actually copy this code. Let's actually copy this code here, and actually I'm lazy. yeah. So we have copied our code, and say let's now introduce the word continue. And we now want to print the name. Say print print name. Print name. Let's try and see how this code execute. Oh yeah, I see why it is actually keeping on repeating. Yeah, so for example, in our list we have names Brian, Joy, Eve, Philip, Edith, Margaret. But here the condition is if name is equal to Eve, and if it is in our list. Let's say continue. We want now to, once it has seen the value Eve, it will definitely skip this value and execute the rest of the values. Let's try and change like we have the value Brian. have Brian in our list and see. Let's run. Yeah, you see our execution has started from Joy, Eve, Philip, Edith, Margaret. If this statement it encounters a certain value in our list, continue means like we are skipping. Yeah, actually skipping the value we have encountered in the list. So this is how we normally use continue statement. Okay, let's try and change to Margaret, and run. Yeah, you see actually our list has executed this part of the list and it has leaved out Margaret, because here we have told the program that if it encounters the value Margaret, we need now to skip. So skipping, we normally use the continue statement. We can as well use the pass statement, of which we have actually seen. Okay, let's try and see how. Okay, I think this is now how we normally use loops when it comes to coding. So, and this marks the end of our lesson 3. Let's actually meet in lesson 4. Okay, thank you so much.